Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I'm back. I wanted to kind of look more towards the world of leadership in general. And one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people, sorry, my hair, stopping for that. One of the things I've noticed is that a lot of people talk about different leadership styles, but most people tend to overlook the sleeper leadership style that I probably am most fond of, which is the reluctant leader. So everyone in at a position of authority has always had in the back of their head that one example that comes to mind of someone who had all of the making of a leader to be, or that was already a leader, but who didn't want to take the responsibility of what that would entail, right? And so everyone can kind of look back onto their own personal journey and pull from that, or they themselves are that leader. So, one of the things that I always tell people, especially clients, is that when it comes to spiritual needs, one of the things that you can do to incorporate spirituality into your professional setting is to nurture the person's faith in either themselves or faith in their higher calling. And so when it comes to the reluctant, I keep wanting to say reluctant werewolf, but the reluctant leader, it's someone to really, really look for. It's something that it takes a little bit of mentorship to get to garner the dynamic that you'd like and to be able to pull from, but it's worth the venture. And as we go into 2020 and we wrap up this year, we're going to find more and more opportunities that are presenting themselves out of what used to be considered obstacles. I love an obstacle because it's just an opportunity dressed up for a night out. Like it's just it's something's there and you just have to have the right person to see it. As we start to awaken this concept to the new reality of life, which is there are no limits, then you're going to find even more reluctant leaders start to pop up. And since there's such a great divide between the leadership of the baby boomers, the Xers like me, and the millennials, there's going to be a gap. And so the secret will be in finding these sleepers or people who are the reluctant style leader, because they're going to be your bread and butter in many ways. They're going to be able to speak the talk of the demographic you're looking for, while still actively living in it, while having the power to actually manipulate it to some degree. Not manipulation in a bad way, but like actually being able to use it to some sort of betterment for themselves and the company and for society. It's a balancing act, but they will have that skill set. And so when you are dealing in leadership, especially at this crucial time now as the baby boomers finally exit, or make their way to happy land, because it's about time, they've been working forever. And we start to get to the more nitty gritty with this, social responsibility and things that we need to do that we've been blocked up until now. It's going to be very important for us to start casting our votes as to who we're going to have as these little sleeper leaders. And how do you cultivate a leader who doesn't want to be a leader? And you're going to find the answer is going to come back to what my field, which is the spirituality of the leader. The leader in general has a very interesting journey. It's very much the fool's journey, which is one of the articles that will be coming out later today for LinkedIn. And the fool's journey is one of innocence and purity. It's so naive with a sense of understanding that it's not as it seems, right? They're still lost in absolutes and think that there are limits. As they age, they will start to overcome these things, but at the time, that's where their head's at. So that becomes very interesting as far as what you're seeking out, because it becomes a skill set that you almost have to like energetically feel into, and that's where spirituality comes in. Spirituality to a lot of people is very scary. It means that that they're attached to a religious doctrine or to some sort of organization. No, you don't have to be. A faith-based person just believes in either of them. A higher calling is all that's basically required for faith. Hope in humanity is the other aspect to it, but that is up to the person. Everybody has hope and faith. It's just a matter of the perspective that they're coming from. So understanding that you have that ability to tap into that without violating a law or without like having a backlash because you're being, spiritual. We need that. We need spiritual leadership, especially now. But in regards to this type of leader, tapping into that energy becomes very interesting because it's a nuance. This leader will step up and say things that are necessarily not always in alignment with their peers and almost at times go against their peers in one or two fashions, but it will be noticeable, and you will see that they have what I call the moral or ethical code. They have absolute things that they will stand up for no matter what, and it's a pattern that begins to emerge. It is your job to find that the particular thing, the tell of their personality tell is what you're looking for, and it usually will be in those moments. The other aspect to this type of leader is that they tend to be dedicated to the whatever task they're doing, and typically will get annoyed at other people who are negative all the time about what they're having to do on a day to day, right? Then don't do it, but they'll have that cadence to them. And then when it comes to you, they will be supportive of you until you do something that, it'll be a moment where you have done something that violates their personal or ethical code, or that brings you into question within their eyes. And they may even say it aloud. They're not being disrespectful. But they're being honest. That's who you're looking for. Those are like three really clear tells that this person is a leader in the making. And the other thing is that when you look or you're doing like HR related stuff, because I find this to be one of the more frustrating things for a lot of young people, is when I'm gonna have to fix my hair at some point. But when and apparently my shirt, hello. But when sorry, got distracted. The moral story is that when it comes to the HR related stuff, it's also very important to understand the power of words. So when you tell your secretary or you tell your assistant or you tell the HR director or whoever it is that you need a certain skill set or specific type of person, back up 2 steps, think about what you're saying, and scope it out large enough that you can gather what's actually in the vicinity of what you're looking for. Because a lot of people are missing the opportunities that are right underneath their nose because they're worried about title. Title is irrelevant. You're looking for skill. And the skill set is something that a lot of people may not know that they are skilled at. For example, it took me a long time to understand that I was a strategist because I didn't understand the concept back in the 70s. It wasn't a big thing. I would, it's a big thing. But if you had asked for it specifically in those days, you wouldn't have gotten anything. So remember, cast your net wide enough that you get the overall arc around what you're looking for. Because usually it's not exactly it's always that diamond in the rough that you're trying to tap. So learn how to tap it by being generalized enough. And it's just it's nuance and things like that we're going to have to start incorporating daily. And that's why the spiritual path is such an important path for a leader, is because there are parallels between them. A spiritual leader is still someone who has to engage humanity in their ability to connect to a higher power, to give us a focus as a general consensus, right? Whereas you as a leader in a business are trying to get all of these people to work in unison to accomplish goals set by your higher authority, which would be the CEO or whoever, whatever your task is that you're trying to do. And so it's a lot of things that we need to start engaging in conversation, and that's all I wanted to say. I'm running on here. That's it for Al on Altruistic Channel. I just wanted to say that. I hope you guys have a great day.